Next news, Egyptian woman murdered in public for rejecting marriage proposal. On June 20th in Mansoura, Egypt, Naryera Ashraf Abdel Gader was stabbed in front of her university after refusing a fellow student's marriage proposal. The murder occurred in broad daylight in front of the university gates after she stepped off of a bus. She died instantly after sustaining fatal injuries to her neck and torso. According to the victim's father, Ashraf had blocked the young man on Facebook for over a year and a half. He had informed the authorities about repeated threats against her, fearing the man would attack his daughter. According to the investigation carried out by the Egyptian police, the murderer is a student, identified only as Mohammed A., who studies at the same university as the victim. Mohammed admitted to the police to having killed Nayera because she refused to have a relationship with him and marry him. A similar incident occurred only 2 days later in Jordan after a 21-year-old female nursing student was shot dead in the middle of the day at her university campus in Amman. Investigations have started as the police are on the search to identify and apprehend the culprit. Atiya Malbrook, a professor in the Department of Islamic Studies at the world-renowned Al-Azhar University in Cairo, advised women to, quote, wear a hijab if they do not want to meet the same fate.
Are you serious? What the hell?
Yes. So I wanted to cover this story because this was a huge story that was across like the Arabic-speaking world. And then here's this like dumbass professor telling you to wear the hijab and this won't happen to you. This was very important because it reflects a lot of like ongoing severe women issues regarding women's safety in Egypt. And it also stirred up a lot of debate about whether this is honor-based violence or not. Like, Armin, do you think that this is honor-based violence?
I don't know.
Or more just a jilted lover?
No, yeah, more of that. I don't think this could be blamed on honor culture. I don't think this could be, because honor culture would be more if they were, for example, in a relationship and he attacked her and did this because he saw her with another man or indecent, or the father. Like, honor culture would be if the father or the husband or the boyfriend or the brother or a male guardian harmed her in a way because they thought that, this is just somebody. Yeah, what did you call it? You had a good name for it.
Honor-based violence?
No. It's something lover.
Jilted lover.
Yeah, okay. Again, I'm not saying that
it's not even a jilted lover because they were never lovers. It's just a rejected man.
A rejected man. Yeah. This is somebody who is, honor culture, because honor culture refers to people. It's something more thinking that they own you because they're in a traditional relationship with you. It's again, I'm not saying this is not bad. Obviously, it's just a different type of bad. Okay, and because I don't think it could be honor culture. I don't know how much of it could be blamed on the culture of the country as a whole. Like, do you think is the fact that this is in Egypt? Are we suggesting that this has anything to do with the culture of Egypt or Islam? Because we don't know.
Egypt is notorious for horrible treatment of women.
I know it is, but how much of this can be blamed on that? Is this? We don't know exactly. It's very likely, given that it is in Egypt and given how women are treated in Egypt. But this might have been a uniquely troubled, a uniquely insane man that might we don't okay. So what I'm saying is it's tempting for us to just attribute, connect things together, right?
Mm-hmm.
We'll say something like this is happening in Egypt. We know the cultural background of Egypt. We know how women are treated in Egypt, and we just come up with a certain conclusion that this man must have been affected by Egypt's culture, okay, or by Islam. But we don't know. I'm just like saying we have to be more skeptical, right? Maybe if you knew more, you would realize that no, this person is just independently extremely insane, independent from Egypt's culture or Islam, right? So don't be tempted to just come up with quick conclusions based on information that you don't have, okay? The only part of the story that you could connect to Islam or Egyptian culture is this idiot professor who are saying that maybe she should have been wearing a hijab.
Yeah, wait, I want to read this caption by Sharif. Mm-hmm. So Sharif Gabr, who if you don't know, is a phenomenal, insanely brave Egyptian ex-Muslim who does phenomenal like short films about his criticism of Islam. Go check out his YouTube channel. Anyways, he said yesterday Nadia Ashraf was slaughtered publicly by a guy she refused to marry. This famous Islamic preacher said, quote, either you wear hijab or you'll be slaughtered just like Nadia. And then you hear some blockhead say Muslim women choose to wear the hijab. So I wanted to include this because this was reflective of a lot of stuff I was seeing online regarding this murder. Was a lot of basically religious victim blaming, because she was apparently had a bit of like an online following. She was very pretty, like known for her success in her studies, like, and she was, yeah, growing in popularity. And it's like, well, if you were, just didn't attract so much attention, you don't wear the hijab, like you show off your beauty. Like, of course, men are going to get mad that they can't have you. Like, and just a lot of, victim blaming that had a very obvious religious flavor to it was a part of this ongoing story. Eric Olson is saying, don't teach girls how to dress, teach boys how to behave. Yes, exactly. I think it's very difficult wearing them.
Let me just defend the boys. Please do not speak about these people as if they represent men, teach men. I just sometimes feel like men get a bad rep because of the action of these people, okay? Like let's not generalize, like I'm, this. Anyways, like teach men. Let's not make this a girl versus boy thing, okay? This is like evil people versus not evil people thing, okay? This is not men versus women. But go on.
No, but I think it's worth talking about like how, this happened in the midst of a broader culture, Islamic culture, that teaches you that women are responsible for the temptation of men, that they accumulate these sins of every time a man is attracted and tempted to them. So I think this builds into a broader attitude that came to a very deadly consequence here. And what's interesting with this murder that happened a few days later in Jordan was that the victim of that murder was a university student, and she wore a very conservative, very modest hijab. And I received messages from some of my Arabic speaking friends, and I wasn't able to verify this. So take this next part with a grain of salt. But they sent me supposed screenshots of messages that the murderer of this Jordanian woman sent to her, basically saying like, I'm going to do to you what he did to Naria. So supposedly directly referencing this murder of Naria, like inspired by it, and took it out on her. There's also conflicting reports about if the man who murdered this Jordanian woman was also a rejected lover or rejected man, etc. I haven't been able to confirm those things, but I think that that's important to include, like that this was in some ways possibly a copycat crime. But in this case, the woman was very modestly dressed. It didn't stop her from being slaughtered. So again, it's just victim blaming.
Okay, so I'm going to give a controversial take. Okay.
Oh boy.
Maybe the way that, okay, so let's say, for example, wearing the hijab did reduce the chance that you get attacked. Okay.
Hypothetically.
I think it might.
No.
Because because the example people give for why it won't is examples of times when people were dressed modestly and they were still attacked. Okay, that's the proof that it doesn't. However, that is not statistics. That's like anecdotal, right? So, for example, maybe it doesn't eliminate the chances of you getting attacked. It just reduces the chances of you getting attacked.
Well, why
Maybe
would
it
you
does.
suggest that either without any data?
I'm saying maybe. I don't know, right?
You
so
know, earlier you said I think that it might. That is the suggestion, Armin.
Yeah, did you notice the word might?
No, but you're actually like making that claim.
Yeah, I'm making the claim that it might. I'm not making the claim that it's a certain thing. I think that it might. That's not certainty. That's like, I'm just guessing. If I have to guess, this is not a theory. This is like even below a hypothesis, right? That it doesn't eliminate the chances of you getting attacked, but I'm not. Let me tell you why people shouldn't still wear modestly, be modest, even if it's true, right? So my defense of women, be free is not that, hey, if you dress modestly, you will get less attack, because I'm just saying you shouldn't negotiate with terrorists, basically, right? So let's say there was data that showed, because I do think it might, because I would be so surprised if it didn't. Like somebody who's dressing, very revealing clothes, and somebody who's dressing modestly, if you're saying that the data suggests that the chances of them getting attacked is equal, I would be shocked. I'm saying that's a possibility, but I would, if there was data, I would guess that no, the revealing dress girl has probably a higher chance of getting attacked. Is that so controversial to say?
In some ways, yes.
I mean, well, I think it's a real possibility. I'm just saying that we shouldn't be changing our lifestyle. We shouldn't be made to force to change our lifestyle because of other people intimidating us, right? We want to fix, even if it's true that you might get more attack if you are dressing revealing clothes. We want to change society in a way that you get to still wear revealing clothes because you want to do that. We shouldn't change society so that we bend the knee to people who want to intimidate us into living certain lives. We want to increase security, right? We want to protect women and everybody else in a way that they could have the lives that they want. That's my defense of not promoting modesty culture. I don't want to spread a lie like, oh, it doesn't have any effect. Well, do we know it doesn't have any effect? Maybe if you cover up completely, maybe if you wear the niqab and a chador, then your chances of getting attacked gets close to zero. We don't know.
Okay, what? So here's my contention. I have multiple contentions. I understand the broader point that you're making. Don't get me wrong. Like I do have complete clarity over like what you're saying. So basically, I think if anything, it is insanely highly variable on geolocation. Like, would we be able to see a difference in rates in the US where we have a much more normalized culture of revealing clothing? I think maybe yes. But versus a culture or society where women are already on average and as the norm, dressed extremely conservatively and modestly, the standards have changed. Mm-hmm. The standards of what is and is not is revealing has drastically changed. And women will get sexually harassed over showing their wrists and ankles.
That proves my point.
And also, in a society where dressing modestly is culturally mandated, it's also ironically a severely hypersexualized society, because you have been denying this innate human part of ourselves to such an extent in making the smallest things a sign of sexuality, that the smallest things like the look of an ankle or the color of a hand suddenly have massively exaggerated, magnified like sexual capacity. So or stimulus.
The concept
So-
proves my point. Can I say? Well,
Okay.
I understand that what is considered revealing is different from place to place. Okay. So, for example, in Egypt, maybe showing your hair or, wearing short sleeves would be considered revealing. But but in Europe, unless you're completely topless, that would be revealing. But anything like that would not be revealing. Okay. So, but I'm saying based on whatever the standards are where you are, what people consider revealing, if you are being, wearing revealing clothes, people will see you more as a target. People, abusers, will consider you more as, for example, in a society where everybody is wearing full hijab, okay, a woman who's like a chador with a niqab, then my guesses would be somebody who's still wearing the hijab but doesn't have a niqab is a bigger target. Even if she's like wearing complete hijab and a chador, but everybody has a niqab and she doesn't have the niqab. That woman without a niqab is probably a bigger target for abuse than everybody else. Even though, based on our standards, she's wearing very, very conservative clothes. Like, if I had to guess who's a bigger target, it would be her, the one that is not wearing a niqab. Okay. Is that
but you're saying, okay, like even if that's the case, like we shouldn't comply with that. Like we
shouldn't comply. Like why are we accepting the abuser's terms here? Okay, I'm just saying the defense of fighting modesty culture shouldn't be like, oh, modesty doesn't deter abusers, because it might. Because we might be spreading false information. Maybe modesty does deter abusers. Okay, we don't know if it does.
But I don't think it does, because men.
But even if it did, it doesn't matter. But even if it did deter abusers, because I think it might. Even if it did, then who gives a crap? These are the abusers. We shouldn't be like letting them set the terms, set the standard of how we live by. That's how we should be attacking modesty culture. Not spreading information that we don't know. We're telling, oh, it makes no difference. Like, this is kind of like, fighting racism, like some people, like if you say like, oh, everybody has the same capability, I'm saying like, what if they don't? What if it's different? They should still have equal rights. That shouldn't determine how we treat people. Like, yeah, maybe they do. Maybe everybody is completely equal in their scales, and ethnicity has no effect. And maybe it does, but probably doesn't. But even if it did, it doesn't matter. It shouldn't affect the way you treat different. I'm just saying that or for example, the way we defend homosexuality. We're saying like, oh, it's not a choice. They're born this way. Like,
I hate that rhetoric.
Yeah. Like, that's not a good defense. So what if it was a choice? Even if it was a choice, it's still okay. So I'm just saying, attacking, defending people being able to dress the way they want, I think it shouldn't be defended by saying modesty doesn't deter abusers, because it might. The problem is somewhere else. I just have an issue with the way we're defending people's right to choose. Or, for example, abortion, right? People defend women's right to choose because it's like, oh, my body, my choice. Like, that's not a good defense. That's not a good defense, because if that fetus was self-aware, then all of a sudden it has rights, and we should somehow be protecting it. The defense of right to choose is that it's a goddamn fetus. Who gives a crap about fetuses? Fetus lives don't matter.
Work from you as well. But that's a different discussion.
That's a different discussion. Anyways, okay.
I think, yeah.
Anyway,
that's good or helpful, but
well, fetus lives don't matter. We could have a different talk about that later. Anyways, but do you understand my point here now? Like, I'm still defending our attack on modesty culture. I just think we're not doing it the right way when we're saying that it has no effect on abuse. That's my point. Does anybody have a point on this in the live chat? Do they agree with me or disagree with me?
Like some mixed reactions.
Okay. Anyways, people are gonna get angry. Some people are gonna get. Oh, here's an angry comment. Oh, some people agreed. But this
Oh wait,
person is saying,
you read the live chat while I go to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
okay. Somebody saying nothing to argue. You're wrong, man. Just chill. Something. No, there's another comment here. Like, I love it when people have no arguments and just like, oh, there's nothing to argue. You're just wrong. So basically, you have nothing to back up what you're saying. You're just making a claim, and people have just have to agree with it. And here's proof that you have no idea what you're talking about. You're saying, why don't you say what you know something instead of lying? You are incapable of understanding. You have very limited capacity of understanding what someone's argument is, because I was specifically saying that we don't know. That was the entire point. Like, you are making a claim that we don't know. We don't know if modesty reduces the chances of abuse, and you're saying, why don't you say what you know? Okay, no, you could sometimes. I am saying that we don't have the information, so we shouldn't be making a claim. So you're doing, when you're saying that we know modesty doesn't deter abuse, you're making a claim that you don't know. I'm claiming ignorance. I'm claiming that lack of knowledge here.
Armin, that was actually that user's argument with a different user.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Oh yeah, here. I'm talking with something user. Someone else. Okay. I took it very personally. I thought it was all right,
Darko
never
saying,
mind.
this is why you tag people. Hey guys, if you're a fan of Blasphemy and Sexy Callie, like me, then you need to be sure to subscribe to our newsletter, link in the description below. Because if you subscribe, we will send you a free copy of our Blasphemous Art ebook. And let me tell you, it is the tastiest blasphemy that you can find anywhere available today. And we are so generous with our blasphemy that we continue to send you more blasphemy every week. So make sure to subscribe, link in the description below.